All right. Welcome, everybody. Before we head into Battlegrounds, I know I have more gold than I will ever need, but I hate letting things expire, so give me a few minutes to burn through some of this, because I guess it's been about 28 days since Ascension launched. Or whatever the last big thing was that led to a lot of crystals. I don't remember. But it was clearly recent, because good lord. The fact that I've done all this and I've moved less than 10 minutes is a little rough, but I promise I won't go too long here. Okay, you jumped to hours. That's enough. That's enough. Okay. Yeah, I was expecting something like that. Because I didn't actually make it to the victory track last season, so we've got some catching up to do. Hey, Lefty. It is just Kabam DLL, no spaces. Let me skip real quick. Okay. I have not played this meta at all. Y'all are gonna need to walk with me a little bit. I truly don't even know where to start. I appreciate it, man. Um, hey, Magnus. Like, I know we need to get Hitmonkey in there. Me Maestro as a stall. We probably need Arcade. Wait, did I not take Sasquatch up? Oh, yeah, I ended up taking up a skill instead for now. Okay, let me look through who I have in first. Who's probably too slow for this? Nico feels like a likely one. I-Bomb can be a stall. Prowler might be too slow. Zola's a really good defender. Do I not have him in? Or you're just saying? No, he's right there. Okay, yeah, let's do that. I don't know why I didn't have him in last season. Tiger's probably better than normal. Jean is a good stall. Ant-Man can stall. Spiral's probably not worth it. Thank you so much for the raid, Lefty. Welcome, everybody. As you can see, I am trying to figure out what to do with my deck here. Because I have not played at all. Take Nimrod for a stall defender. I could see that. And he's also very fast when he needs to be. Oh, Quicksilver comes out for sure. That's an easy one. I like him, but not for this. We love Enchantress. That's right. I just took up Enchantress to rank 4 recently, so she should be in there. Where is she? That Maestro should probably be in there as well. I don't know if Carl's worth it. He is rank 5. I think Kushala comes out. Because we need to make sure we also have options for being fast, right? And not just for slowing people down. Needs to be a bit of both. It'll be. Spiral isn't great. Yeah, I know she can be fast, but like I think you need to be really good with the blades for that, and I don't think I am. Yeah, okay, I'll drop her. Let's throw in Maestro because he's big. Yeah, you and me both, Belwas. Also, Belwas, is your name a reference to the R.A. Salvatore novels, or is there something else there? Curious. Bullseye might or might not be worth it anymore. I think Shocker is still fast enough. Sam is maybe still dangerous enough on defense. Should I take Nova out? You still feel Kushal is a must. Okay. Because I picked up first appearance Claire in the Valentine's Day sale, Chelly. This is why I miss a deck size of 40. I hate this so much. There's so many I want. Very Sentry. Welcome, Rover. Not entirely sure where you're going with that. Hablo un poco español. I'm not ready for my accent right now. Sorry. Um, Leo mejor que hablo, obviamente. Uh, pero te entiendo. Yeah, Carl's probably just a defender. I probably have too many cosmics. I think I should drop Nova. And then yeah, I can do Kushala and just rush with her. I feel like I should have more of my ascended characters in here, but they are not necessarily the fastest. I truly don't know. I probably just need to progress a little bit and then see what I'm playing with. It's unfortunate, WayJ. But yeah, I definitely need to pick up that blade piece. Welcome, Naruto. I think they have a better deck for this meta than I do. Maybe I can learn from it. Not tilt too hard. No kidding. Okay, fair enough. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, but I think there was also a character by the same name in the early Drizzt novels. They're probably both a reference to something else in mythology. Plays a bit hit or miss with the Purifies. That's a fair point. I'm probably not thinking about them enough. He has time to see if Nico actually does hold up. I've been told she's too slow. We'll see. Greetings, Grey Fox. I appreciate the flex. Oh, there's going to be a lot of learning curves on this thing. Mm. Yeah, I think the biggest challenge of this stream is going to be for me to take my own advice and just recognize that it's almost a completely different mode with these changes and that I just have a lot of learning to do. Can't really get angry early on. I can try to answer Barbarian. I don't know, this is probably a bad idea. But they have Carolina, so... If this works, it'll be very quick. It was my fault. Oh, that's unfortunate. Forgot about that. Oh, getting hit sucks. Alright. Yeah, the 11 from the special 3, there was just no way through. I was hoping that after her first special 1, we have more heavies to go before it pushed her to special 2. I do think there's a way where that comes out, but that's okay. I actually don't know, Space. There are dashboards that I can check, but I don't know how to really feel like I have them accurate, you know? I think it's fair to say hundreds of thousands, but I don't know how to speak to it precisely. My fault. Come here. Alright. Forgot about the stun immunity. Okay, solved it decently, but okay. Hello from Turkey, or hello to Turkey, I should say. Alright, round 3, we just put Gentle down, and we know that they run with Jack, but I think we have options for both of theirs. I definitely don't follow what you mean by that, Barbarian. What do you mean, why are my reworks as they are? I'm gonna need a bit more detail there. Hello to Greece as well. I need to get over to Eastern Europe at some point. I didn't even realize they put down Carolina. I should have gone Tigra. That was a mistake. Okay, that could have been worse. I need to get better with Hitmonkey. Will we see Dark Phoenix ever in the base crystal? Bluntly, probably not. Like, it's not my area, and never is a strong word, but like Jessica Jones isn't in the base crystal. Weapon X isn't in the base crystal. Kang isn't in the base crystal. Even as we increase accessibility for trophy champions, I think it's fair to say that they usually still don't, like, they stay trophies. Is Twitch being really slow? The playback on this side is not great for me, and I don't know if it's on my end or if y'all are seeing that as well. The OBS numbers are good, but I just want to check in. Hello to Belgium. Okay, that went decently well. I appreciate the compliment, Barbarian. I still don't know exactly what you're asking, but I guess in an attempt to kind of go in the direction, I have thus far mostly tackled reworks that I think have like a thematic identity. Um, Even though they've kind of varied in like how strong their kits are. Like I didn't have to do much for Sam, right? I didn't have to do much for Luke, but I think they had some significant polish things that I was able to clean up. I had to do a bit more for like Storm and Black Panther. But I think, I don't know, the thing about the reworks is that I have tried to take the bones that are already there and both modernize them for the game as it is now, but also try and like I think the biggest thing with reworks is I just try and like solve problems that I run into, right? They're all different than my characters would have been from scratch, right? If I had been assigned to build Sam Wilson from scratch, I don't think I would have come up with the same thing that Lex did, right? And that's not a slight at all at Lex. He's a very good designer. Um, but from that framework of his design, there are still like I basically still apply the same problem solving process to that I would to my own design, right? I'm like, this isn't quite working for me. What smooths it out? I feel like if I do this, the incentive is not quite right, or like it's not quite telling me what I should be doing. There's a little too much tension here. How do I solve that, right? Like I think that's really the core of it. In my opinion, the way that you approach a rework is that you're starting with somebody else's ideas, but you still put it through the same process that you would your own stuff. Hey, lawyer. What does Sam Wilson actually do? A lot. He has very, very good utility. He doesn't crit. He can cut through physical resistance, even though he's all physical damage because he has physical vulnerabilities. He has pretty solid access to power drain. He has the same kind of offensive ability accuracy reduction on block that Ironheart does. We probably don't want to cut through a rank 5 Serpent. And now that he's been updated, he has quite good damage. I also forgot parry non-contact in there. Alright, they're out. I'll take it. Okay, we weren't too far behind. Would it ever get easier or cheaper to get the Deathless pieces for the Deathless champs in the future? I will say that it will continue to get easier and cheaper because it has, right? They were put in content, there were catch-ups put out, there was the Radiance alternative, like, it's been a pretty clear progression as we've gone. Your mail and quest things. It's okay. Nothing is gonna time out by the end of this stream. Not anymore, anyways. I wouldn't be surprised if they back out as well. But while we're here... Honestly, if I'm not running Nico, I might as well ban her. Thanks, Barbarian. I appreciate that. Does my on-screen chat feed from more than one place? Yeah, and I probably need to balance it a little differently now. For a while, it was like everybody was on YouTube, nobody was on Twitch. Actually, after this matchup, I will readjust it a little bit. But the top part is my YouTube chat, the bottom part is my Twitch chat. But also in OBS, they are both feeding into a single window, which is cool. And I can message both of y'all at the same time. But I haven't played all that much with that yet. There was another service I was looking at that could just combine the chats. But it was having some other problems. Okay, I would still have a better Yelena counter in here. We did pass on Gentle early. I would take him. Who am I talking to? Yeah, I get it. There are two groups on here, and I probably need to label them, like put a little YouTube logo on the top one and a tweet on the bottom one. I'm still figuring that stuff out. Okay, Storm is a really good pickup for Yelena, given all of this. Probably go ahead and pick up Carolina as well. Thinking about rank 5 voodoo, thoughts? I think you're brave, and a lot of people will give you crud for it, but I do like voodoo, and, you know, to pat myself on the back, I do think there's a lot that he can do after his rework. I think to really appreciate voodoo, though, you have to really know what you're doing with the power dissolve. That would be my biggest piece of advice. Okay, the stun immunity is going to be annoying. Unless I guess we just keep doing this. Alright, throw. Alright, come here. Okay, that was my fault. Yeah, okay. That's a problem. The ebb and flow makes this much worse. I have had really good results with her otherwise. That's fine. I need to figure out how to do that properly around ebb and flow. It is really nice that we still won, but that was good training. I probably... Yeah, that's going to be tough this meta. Because for those of you who are curious what the heck was going on there, in past metas without ebb and flow, if you push her to elimination and then don't need to heavy again, and she throws her special and you can just charge into the special too, once she's gotten rid of her attack cap, it just deletes her. It one-shots even without the Fury. It's very, very good for it. But it's going to be trickier with that. Why not intercept special one outside of her counter? Oh, do you mean like dash in to punish it better? Because I don't want to. I will explain that in a second. It is a good question. Whoops, I did the thing. That's okay. Doesn't matter if we get hit. That's unfortunate. Wasted a counter punch. Alright, come here, come here. Alright, I can speed that up, but that was good practice. Yeah, so in the Storm X Yelena matchup, you don't want to punish the special one because doing so grants you power with your medium, right? That's actually bad. Because then you will be pushed too high and you won't be able to kill with the special 2, you'll be pushed to the special 3. And I actually, honestly, I need to test how many prowess I need for the special 3 to one-shot, because it probably can as well. but it feels like a gamble. Because I have found from experience that basically you need the exact number of heavies to push her over 100 combo. That gets you to 2 bars and then some. You really cannot you cannot afford to be also throwing mediums on the way up. No, but that's the thing. It gets in the way of the nuke, right? Like, I'm not saying that I'm playing careful and slow, right? I'm saying I'm playing deliberately because I think it will actually be faster. You're misunderstanding me. At the moment, I'm still very new to the meta work, so I don't have strong opinions either way. Hey, Dante. I've already planned who my next rank 5 is going to be. Not explicitly. Decent chance it'll be a mutant, but I don't know. Absolutely not. Okay, so these are the main threats. What's the John Mulaney line? Y'all are gonna have to get really cool about a lot of stuff really fast. That's my answer, Hanson. Okay, I want to practice that again, even if it is against a smaller one. Oh, I said I was going to readjust my chat windows. I do need to do that in a sec. Still don't really understand his rotation. So there are arguments behind a few different rotations. It kind of depends on what you're doing. For Battlegrounds, especially since I'm punching down at rank 5 Ascended, I think Special 1, Special 2 while locked on is going to kill just about anything. Before I had those two things, I was playing a little bit differently to have some more runway. I think we should probably grab the Zemo so we have a good photon counter. Okay, well, we get to try that again. I wish I could play copyrighted music off of a soundboard because I would absolutely have theme songs for every single character on my roster. And for Maestro, especially now that he's double ascended, it would be the Moto Moto theme from Madagascar. Hey, Crom, how's it going, man? Let's see the special 2 decks. No, 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 no. No, that's not really the plan here. Let's see how this goes. Oops, that was my fault. Mm-hmm. We may have to try the special 3. Okay, it did one shot. I would love to know how much damage it actually did. It's just going to the special 3 and keeping the striker up might be the way to go if that overkilled by enough. That was a rank 3 Elena, so we were punching down a lot. I don't want to overtrust it. I need to test that again. Surprised Maestro doesn't get banned more. I think people just, A, have bigger fish to fry, and B, they miss him. Because he does have lower PI. Oh, that's not. Yeah, we can do this. How did I not get reversaled on that heavy? Because reversal removes stun effects, but the striker opening is not a stun. That was my fault. That's gonna sting. Ugh, that's double bad. Alright, come on, buddy. Alright, I've really biffed this. Because that should have happened 20 seconds ago. How is she that good against Yelena? So, some of what you were seeing, she could do before her buff, right? Because she's always had really good damage, but there are two big things that changed. One, throwing the heavies is allowing her to keep both of her Tempests offensively, and so she's gaining more prowess, right? The other big thing is because she now gets her passive stun against Endurance, she can reliably heavy against Yelena. Because she can reliably heavy against Yelena, she can knock her down a lot, giving her a lot of combo and pushing her into elimination mode early. And as long as you can then kill her in elimination mode, because suddenly you have access to your full attack rating on your specials, then you don't really need to worry about the danger of it. Man, I hate those pop-ups with every fiber of my being. Can you help me understand the Sasquatch fight on the ordeal? What about it is troubling you, Alex? Yeah, I realize that may be kind of open-ended, and so let me know if there's something in... If you just need me to talk through it generically, but if there's something in particular you're running into, right? Like, is it the life cycle? Is it the disorient problem? Is it Sasquatch himself? Are you dying before you can get to the end? Are you having trouble KOing? Are you having trouble with the regen? What's your pain point? Those are some very cool rank 5s that I am unfortunately going to have to ban the heck out of. You're using Kushala, but she's not doing anything. So the problem with Kushala in that fight is that life cycle makes them immune to, like, they take no damage from damaging debuffs, right? So Kushala can work, but you're going to need her high sig, and you're going to need to be very disciplined about keeping her her blessings up so that you have a chance of passives. Because as long as they're debuffs, that's just how the node works. She's not going to do anything for you. Oh, I forgot my Shaka's rank 5. We definitely need to be using him more. Does this stream give drops? Yep. I've unlocked one watching my own stream as we've been here. Someday, pleasers. I think Penny is quite good. I think you have to be comfortable using her on offense. That's really what it comes down to. If you're viewing Penny as just a defender, and especially if you yourself are reliant on the cosmics that she gets answered by, and you never ban Hulkling, you never ban Gallon, and you just look at her as a defender, I think you'll be disappointed with Penny. But if you're willing to ban around her, that changes. And if you are willing to use her as an attacker, that changes, because she has a very reliable Special 1, Special 2 kill. Especially if she's punching down. Where are my Mystics? That ain't it. Okay, well. Hey, Floyd. It's fine. I can't speak to things that aren't announced. Let's not go over that stuff. Yeah, funny that, Billy. Yeah. We've also been sending Penny to that really popular I-Bomb Conflictor placement this season, since he's tactic and blocks out some of the usuals. Okay, this is going to be annoying. Theoretically, this works. I appreciate the compliment, Floyd. Penny Awakening has been avoiding me for 2 years. Ah, I thought that you were asking because you'd gotten her Ascension materials. Alright, well, this kills or it doesn't. It kills. Good man. No, not really, Dante. Both of those would have been pretty big departures from the existing kit. And I just don't think they're necessary. Like, his armor-ups aren't supposed to be something you can hold on to forever, right? That's why they're built the way they are, with the 5 indefinite ones and then the durations above that. And it is why they pause on special too, so you can't lose them there. That's interesting. That's not quite what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do at all. Okay, I was way too slow. I looked down and I had 3 seconds less than I thought. Yeah. Hmm. Well, that's unfortunately what I was trying to do earlier, but c'est la vie. Whoops. I tried to heavy and I messed it up and backed off. Alright, we're close enough to the lock-on now, and we messed up the tempo enough that I am just going to wait. No, that was my fault. I should have waited for him to come at us. Okay, that was still maybe enough. Let's see. The minute I remembered what their fight was, I was like, no, it definitely wasn't enough. We definitely lost. Spider-Woman is so fast. Apparently not. Yeah, to speak to that just a little bit more, Dante, I will say, like, oftentimes players ask about, either ask or outright say that we should have done something differently. There's kind of an underlying theme that I notice, which is, why did you not let us hold on to everything? Why did you not give us more tools to avoid things expiring? And I will say, like, sometimes you are just supposed to let resources expire, right? Some champions are built around that tension. They are appropriately ashamed. Some champions are built around that tension where you're supposed to hold on to everything forever and hold it like higher and higher and higher, right? Like Negasonic. But not everybody is. Some characters, the tension is just juggling as much as you can. And they eventually fall off, and that's fine. Right, but that's kind of my point, right? Is that that's not like a play style thing, because when the characters are supposed to do that, I play that way too. I'm telling you, like, that's kind of a mental framing thing that you just need to realize that that's not how all characters are built, and you kind of need to let go of that. And I think you will enjoy some characters a lot more. I wonder if one special one is enough if you start with heavy at the beginning for a bit more chip damage. It might be, Dilly. And I know it is against somebody like Onslaught. But because I just hadn't tested it with Zemo the same way. What makes Bastion really good? I would say that, like, Bastion is good in Battlegrounds because his Special 2, Special 1 kills some very dangerous mutants. That's kind of the big appeal there. I think Bastion's biggest value is actually in War, where he's just insane for Hazard Shift and his easy access to Pursuit, which is the anti-evade ability. It just lets him take a ton of stuff, and there is a reason that he gets banned a lot. So if AK is saying that he thinks Bastion is a bit overhyped in the context of Battlegrounds, that might be true. But overall, I don't think he's overhyped. I think he's appropriately hyped. Yes, there are the drops. Is not familiar with Shocker's game. Yeah, Shocker is very, very good. I've been a fan forever. And it's part of why the aftermath of the glancing fix annoyed me, because people pretended that if Shocker couldn't take Maestro, he was somehow useless. And that told me that those people weren't using Shocker anyway. Let me pull up my overlay real quick. Hey, Griffin, welcome. That's funny. What do you mean my overlay doesn't exist? That's not very nice. Your Twitch connection has expired or been revoked. See, that can't be accurate because it's displaying my chat correctly. The heck? Oh, it must be because I got monetized. I don't know if anybody else uses Stream Elements, but one of the most annoying things about them is that they group your overlays completely separately for your YouTube account and your Twitch account. Right? Like, it doesn't actually show you both as though it's your same account. You have to change accounts like you were changing to a different Steam username, and then they will show up. So, like, I have to have, for the way that my chat is set up, I have one overlay that is, you know, the next champ thing, the background, all of this stuff, and the YouTube chat, and then I have another another overlay that is literally just the Twitch chat. One second. Heck? Sorry, Google's being dumb. I'm gonna save these real quick, see how they look, and then I will fix some things later. Cool, that reset the chats, but it looks like they're not completely overlapped, so as you guys keep talking, that should fix it. Okay, let me catch up a little bit. Definitely not 10 times toxic. I know that you're being hyperbolic, but like I need to push back on the hyperbole because I think a lot of the discourse around Battlegrounds and champion quality is significantly worse because people keep insisting that there is this massive gulf between characters. And unless you are consistently placing in Celestial, there just isn't. Bastion can do a whole lot of things that Jack-o'-lantern can do. Savage. Hey, Misty. Almost done with Act 6. Any tips to help me out? Yeah, if you're having trouble with the Grandmaster, I would recommend checking out some guides. Tim still has some good stuff. Item A1 or Bastion. Kind of depends on how forward thinking you want to be, right? Like, Idum is the one that can get to A2. Especially if prestige matters to you for EQ or whatever. I think there's real good reasons to do that. Bastion still might be, like, better in a vacuum, but also, like, if you were in my battle group, in my alliance right now, I would say Idum, both because prestige matters for things like Coliseum and AQ, as well as EQ, and because Bastion is currently blacklisted. And so it doesn't matter if Bastion's better for the war map right now. We can't use him. Hey, Seth, welcome. But yeah, I think I accidentally wiped out Work's message, but yeah, what he said on YouTube, for those of you not there, basically, I think you will be happier if you resist the urge to try and rank everything. Because at the end of the day, remember that a lot of rankings and tier lists are inevitably crunching something to a single dimension, right? A single measurement. And that is not the game we're playing. There are a lot more dimensions than that. And you always miss something when you crush a complex reality into a simple list. Also that ASAP. I forget. I think it was the Devil May Cry mobile game I played for a hot minute just out of curiosity. And it was like their worst characters started at S tier. And I'm like, okay, come on. I understand grade inflation, but or no, that's some of the like behavior below that or something. I think did have like D, C, B, and A. Maybe it wasn't the Devil May Cry one, because now I feel like I'm remembering wrong. But there's something I played not too recently, or not too long ago, where it like started at S. And you could tell that the system was based off of D, C, B, A, S, but it started at S and then it went to S, S, then S, 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 then S, 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 S plus. And I was like, you've lost the plot. At this point, just use star ratings. Like, why are you pretending to use the grading system if you're just gonna do this? Yes. I am on the CCP list for Twitch. Well, is I doing worth the rank up unascended? I would be slower to do it, but I still think yes. Like we assigned him before this tactic, before Ascension was a thing. All right, I will hunt down the logos for Twitch and YouTube later and actually fix this, but it feels a little more balanced now. I also just realized that the YouTube font is slightly larger than the Twitch font, isn't it? To fix that. Oh, I'm learning things. Okay. That Mr. Knight rank is very based, as the youths say, but I'm not sure I'm actually scared of it. Star ratings are famously not inflated either. I mean, I get what you mean, but at least we went through all of them, right? When I started playing this game, I spent a meaningful amount of time actually clearing content with 2 and 3 stars. 4 stars were rare. I remember, I know I immediately sound like a MCOC boomer, but I have acute memories of before 4-star shards were a thing. When you just had to get lucky pulling them out of PC crystals. Or PHC crystals. Sorry, has been a while. Yeah, the icon for Damnation changed. That was part of the Ghost Rider rework. Because before it was the same icon as Degen, right? Which started to look really silly now that Ghost Rider has access to both Damnation and Degen. Do I have enough attackers? Probably not. Well, we'll just hope they die. What is needed for this Battlegrounds? Fast attackers, and you don't care about how much health they finish with, and big, beefy boy defenders. They do not have to be male. They just have to be large. Hey, Hilgan. Welcome, Benito. Finishing Celestial this season. Bro, I've finished Mysterium like 3 times. I do not have time for that. Grabbing a 4-star Phoenix out of a PHC and it was the best day of my life. Yeah, I feel that. They're not actually using Carolina, right? Okay. That's still not a great pick, but it's a better pick. Exactly, Cat. You got it. Pro specials, please. Oh, that's unfortunate. Once again, in unintentionally hitting the striker button. There we go. Zola. Okay, that was good. Good job, me. Nice heavy intercept. It was so uncooperative. Hey, Sans. So far, the results have nothing to do with MCSC. That's really funny. Alright, let me catch up on Twitch chat a little bit. I wouldn't say soon. I think we were pretty clear, Priyansh. Like, Ascension isn't ruling out 8 stars forever. But it is definitely intended to delay them. think the answer is actually Yelena here. Started in April 2015, 11 years into this great game. Yeah, I think I probably only have you beat by a month or two, if anything. Oh, too close. Nope. Oh, I always do that. Try to dash back. I'm not entirely sure what just happened. I swear that I accounted for reverse controls, but I guess not. Whatever. We made the right call. Nah, that's the thing, Sans. Sometimes with High Evolutionary, as long as you have the combo generation, or I see that you were answering thought, but in my opinion, I'm saying for the room, as long as you have the combo generation, I think it is often correct to intentionally trigger High Evolutionary's auto block. Because I think it speeds things up in the long run. However, when you do that, you should not, ideally, push him to Special 2. I was dumb. I did use Sam earlier, Noah, but I didn't crush it. I hope I get another chance to use him as well soon. Oh, Jay. First 4-star from was Hulk from a PHC. I very clearly remember that for a long time when rank 3 and rank 4 stars were the top, my AQ clearers were, and remember this was all pre-buff, Ultron, Magneto, House of X, and Yellow Jacket. I was putting in work with champions that tier lists said were unusable garbage. Yeah, that's definitely the biggest issue for me, Sans, is like it's so difficult for me to tell if I'm a foot outside or not. It's especially because the camera's always at an angle. Usually just use Adam to nuke him. Yeah, it doesn't shock me. Uh, Speaking of beef, that's generally the idea, AK, yeah. 'Cause there are benefits to resetting rosters with a new star rarity, as much as people don't like to talk about it. But it's really not something that we can afford to do every few years, if nothing else. It does come with a real cost. I enjoy switching things up and using different characters, but a lot of people get very angry when they feel like they need to start over again, which I get. No, I'm not free to play. Kind of you to even ask, honestly, given what's on screen right now. This is technically possible, but very, very difficult. No, I spent before I got hired, and my spending has honestly gone up a bit since I was. What am I looking at? I don't know. I don't even know what I'll use them for, but that feels right. Your issues got me crashing out so bad right now. I'd actually rather play Battlegrounds. I'm sorry to hear that, Cat. I know what that means for you. If you had an immunity, you were automatically good. Kind of, Noah. That's why I leaned on Magneto and Ultron so much. This is gonna be a weird one. Next. Taste the Holy Trinity. I do indeed. Hitmonkey or Zemo? I think that depends. Do you need a two-way or do you need a nuke? Because Hitmonkey is faster, as we are hopefully about to see, because I think he's my only real option here. But Zemo is definitely better on defense. Alright, let's see if we can outspeed Nico. I don't actually think roster resets hurt free-to-play people. We can get more into that in a while. I think that's more narrative than reality. I didn't even realize that we'd gotten there. It's unfortunate. Come here. Thank you. Okay, that was not ideal. But I guess they had a bad time too. I just told a friend of mine exactly what you just said. Are you talking about Hitmonkey versus Zemo or something else? How do I feel about the current rank reset decay system Battlegrounds? So, I think the issues at the moment are like, there's kind of two angles to it, right? There's a tech problem, um, which is that, as far as I know, the thing that I would prefer us do is not currently possible. Because, in my opinion, the best way for all of this to work is that, sure, everybody starts in the victory track, but like, if you got Celestial 1, you start in like Vibranium 2. And you just need to win like the 4 times or whatever it is, and you're good to go. If you start like Mysterium, you still probably start like, I don't know, Vibranium 4 or 5. You don't have to go very far. And so on and so forth, so that like the effort you spend getting further into the Glad circuit translates into less victory track the next season. That is how I personally think it should go. But from my understanding, the I don't know how much it's the tech about where we seed you in the victory track and how much it's the like being able to hold on to the data from last season. I don't fully understand, but something about that is not currently possible, I've been told. And so on the flip side, there are some things that we could maybe do, but like there's only so much because there does need to be some grind to the mode. That's important just for the structure of like a live service game, to be perfectly honest. And then there's also a lot of the complaints about matchmaking just run smack dab into the fact that there's only so much we can do to matchmaking. And at this point, I think it's almost nothing without making it actively bad to improve your roster, right? That is, in my opinion, kind of a red line we cannot cross. We cannot do anything to matchmaking to make it so that improving your roster hurts you by putting you against stronger and stronger competition. This is a fighting game, yes, but it is also an RPG roster development game. And developing your roster should be something that's important. And there's a lot of like conversations glommed onto that, but it's why I think things are currently so difficult, and it's why I want to see us move towards some kind of more progressive seeding, because I think it would help. And selfishly, if I'm going to play X amount of time every season, if I go a little further one particular season and I actually play a lot of Battlegrounds and I get through the victory track early and I grind up through the gladiator circuit a bit, I want that to mean something the next season. I know that it means I get a little bit more radiance now, but I also want it to mean that I have to grind less next season. Moment it doesn't, which feels like right, but Adam, so coming back to that, the reason I say that I don't actually think roster resets are bad for free to play is that every time we've done a roster reset, for as far back as I can remember, there's been a flood of whatever the new rarity is that is also available to free to play people. There's always been stuff available with units. There's always been new content with them that you can grind out. It's like the only way that it's actually bad for you as a free to play player, to be perfectly blunt, is if you're a free to play player who also doesn't play a lot and or is not very good. And those kinds of people matter, but they don't necessarily deserve to be on parity with people who are more skilled or play a lot more or spend, right? I hope that makes sense. And so, like, I think in a lot of ways, the roster resets can be equalizer events. I think the bigger risk for us is not so much what they do to free to play people. The bigger risk for us is that large spenders with very well developed rosters feel like we are not respecting their monetary investment and we just lose some of them. In my opinion, that is the real cost of it. Free to play players, in my opinion, have a tendency to kind of say that most things are bad for them, but that's not necessarily true. A lot of things are actually good for free to play players on net, but are still dismissed as negative for them because they are at a fundamental disadvantage in the genre overall. And that is just kind of the rules of engagement, if that makes sense. Free to play and it's a grind? Yeah, always. Absolutely. Welcome, Songwriting. Flow, welcome tension. Seen a lot of people commenting on the interaction between Hulk's Relic and Scorpion's Rupture pre-fight. Not 100% sure where you're going with that, with the interaction. I'm guessing it's like the Clobber rune. I mean, the Hulk Relic has always been cracked. Okay, coming back to YouTube chat a bit. Small sample size and outlier of a season because of the scoring experiment, but as someone who is having BG's fatigue, I've loved what Ascension has done to the deck landscape. I'm glad to hear that. So, Sans, to your point, nothing happened to matchmaking, and I don't necessarily think that people's decks got super crazy. Unfortunately, because this is going to sound very negative, but I mean this is more of just a diagnosis. Um, I think what's happened to Battlegrounds right now is because certain parts of it are stale, you're getting what the insurance industry calls a death spiral, right? For those of you who haven't paid attention to this in the past, the concept is that if insurance, like health insurance, but this works for any insurance, if insurance is too expensive, then people who think they probably don't need it, in the world of health insurance, it's usually young, healthy people who are at lower risk, opt out and stop paying. And then the higher remaining costs are concentrated among fewer people, which causes prices to rise, which causes the people who are now the youngest and healthiest in the pool to opt out. And that happens again, and that happens again, and that happens again, right? That's the spiral part. And so in insurance, that's called a death spiral. And I think we're seeing something similar in Battlegrounds lately, because if the people who enjoy the mode the least and are struggling the most and have the weakest decks are playing less, then those that remain are those that have the strongest decks, that have the largest rosters, that have spent the most time ranking characters like Stark, Spidey, and Torch that are really good in Battlegrounds and not super important elsewhere. Torch is a bad example because he's still great in War, but you get what I mean. And the people who really enjoy it and are good at drafting and that kind of stuff, like, what's left is the more dangerous competition. And so then the marginal, like the people on the margins, the ones who are now the ones who enjoy it the least, some of them leave. And so on and so forth. It's actually, if this is the wrong metaphor for you, it's also very similar to how like water boils, right? The hottest molecules escape, and then the ones left behind are now the ones close to the surface, which the sun heats up, and then those ones escape, etc. That was several layers of nerds, so I'm going to stop talking and play a fight, but hopefully that helped. I'll be streaming for probably at least a half hour mark. I'm not 100% sure. I'm glad to hear that, Benito, but I will say for me, even though I have a very good win rate in the victory track, it absolutely feels like a grind. I really respect this person's roster choices. There's a lot of my kids in here. Oh, you're just a troll. Okay, well, you don't have to be here then. Bye. Yeah, if you buy, actually, I don't know, because he's old enough. I'm not even sure if Paviter's crystals would have the materials. As a free-to-play player, max rank increases hurt more than resets. Yeah, I think that is absolutely correct, AMK. Alright, if they throw down that Heimdall, I think we'll be happy to have Carl. Last person that's going to be calling anyone bad at cheats. No, I was the one that deleted that. Give me a trombone analogy. I wish I had the brain power for a good one right now, Sans. I don't really have a great kindred counter right now, which does not make me happy. I'm not happy, Bob. Except Benito. Yeah, sure, Adam. I appreciate the discussion. Wonder what happened to the observance I just earned. Honestly, Josh, I don't know, and I can't necessarily help you debug, but hopefully it turns up. Okay, now what the heck do I do here? I think it's probably this. Like, I don't like this matchup at all. But I think this is maybe the right move. I was kind of hoping they'd do that. In which case I could have used Carl, but... Alright, let's see how this goes. Oh, that was too late. Okay. Whew, it wasn't. Look at that degen go. Jesus. Cool. Cowardice comes in clutch. Wish someone had warned me that this wasn't the best season to be starting. It's so... good luck, Cat. Maestro can do Kindred. That sounds like a bad time, given that Kindred explicitly counters Maestro. I understand what you mean, but I think this was probably the way to go. Oh yeah, I'm not running recoil. Why am I not running recoil? I like the difficulty in playing as free-to-play against pay-to-win, because most times in games, pay-to-win has a way easier experience in competitive modes, but in MCOC... Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, there's enough of a skill component in this game that you legitimately do have a better chance than you would elsewhere. Like, a lot of the other gacha games I've played are some kind of squad RPG. Like AFK Journey or Star Rail. I haven't played Genshin, but similar idea. And in those, like, you just die. You lose every time because there's almost no skill involved in, like, can I tank this hit or not? Whoops, what the heck was... Oh, the stun immunity. That's a problem. Come on, buddy. I know this special one won't kill you, so I'm going to need you to throw that special. Jerk. Maestro's glance will make it so atrophy doesn't apply. Oh yeah, if you get it up in time. That's true. That's true. Good point. You just need to make sure you don't get hit by the specials that apply atrophy, which is the main difference between offense and defense. Yeah, good shout. And that's good to hear as a designer, Adam. Like, because engagement should be rewarded. And it doesn't mean that engagement alone will get you to the top, but it should feel meaningful. And even if I wanted to pay, I can't. Can't you use euros in the online store? I guess, depending on what part of the EU you're in, it might be difficult, but I do know some regions have more trouble than others. Funny. Did we ever discuss having an X-Force Wolverine since we made a skin for him? I'm sure it came up. I'm not on the team that decides who's coming to the game next. Although I did just submit a couple of proposals for the next round of Chase Champions, and I would be thrilled if either of them get picked. I can't give any details, but if one of my pitches wins, I will tell you. But yeah, I'm not on that team. But my guess is that there are just enough Wolverines, right? We have, off the top of my head, 3 different Logans, and a Laura, and a Sabretooth. Don't know that we need the X-Force one. The Purple Storm looks cooler, absolutely. Thanks, Grey Fox. I'm glad that you like him. I know there was some talk after the reunion updates that some people wanted more for Sabretooth. And if we had had infinite time, I probably would have given him a bit more. But I do think what we gave him was important, and I'm glad you're having fun. So can't say no to more Wolverines when we have a new Spider-Man every couple months. Oh, we absolutely can. Because the spiders are new characters, right? I know that's not how everybody looks at it, but a 4th Logan is not the same as Peter Prabhakar, who is not a Peter Parker, right? If the Logan is from an alternate universe where he's somehow from Argentina, maybe we can talk. But he wore a different color of cloth while he was on X-Force doesn't really do it for me. I have a plethora of issues with free-to-play game design in the industry as a whole, but I do find it more than amusing when people think this is one of the worst games. Yeah. And I share your issues with the overall industry for sure. I think there's some real virtues to live service. But if the world worked differently, it wouldn't necessarily have to be premium. I think you'll understand, so we'll stop there. What am I gonna do here? The store converts at payment, so it tells me it was $100. When I pay, it says Australian 160. Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what I was expecting. I agree with you as well, Hilgen. Like, personally, I would much rather have Honey Badger than another Logan. But, same idea. Are we going to see Worthy Cap or Stormbreaker Thor? Maybe. I don't know. That one's a weird one. Because personally, I think what I would prefer would be that we actually invested the work in setting up the game for skins as cosmetics, and then made those cosmetics to just a reworked OG Cap, OG Thor. But that has its own considerations. I mean, sure, Adam, but we could just do that with somebody else, right? Like, that could easily be Dakon's kit, what you're describing. I don't know, man. We're trying stuff. No, I do think Helverine counts. That's at least an argument for different powers and potentially a different class. I don't know why I used the striker there. I think that was kind of a waste, because now we have to wait for this. That's very rude of him. Come on, buddy. Oops. I didn't get any of the options I wanted for that. But I was hoping that might work. I haven't done too much yet, Millie, so I don't know that I have a good answer for that. I would say Tigra versus Zola is probably the closest, because you don't really care about the health loss from pushing to Special 2, but I don't have much more at the moment. Oh, his heavy lasts too long. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Alright. That's not how that's supposed to go. Hey, Kurt, how's it going, man? Ooh, that was a narrow one. Yeah, I think Hayevo's neat. I think, honestly, I think his loop is a little bit rigid, and I've said that before. Um, but it's a cool kit, right? Like the mix of severe and non-severe and passives, I think is like good for a modern science character. I think the utility is really nice. I like the way that he handles buff immunity in particular. I realize it's a complexity thing, and that's less than ideal, but I think it's a nice step in the direction without being outright buff immunity. Yeah, it's cool stuff. I mean, I don't know how to tell you this, Meat Crusher, but Heimdall was worked on more recently than Thor, and that is. It's not a perfect correlation. That's a pretty big part of it. Want to see Mutant Kamala? Ooh, you were gonna trigger some people over on YouTube. Hey, Vital. Don't. I'm sorry, AK, but don't be obtuse. The nicest word I can come up for there. Gentle is cracked, and if you really think that he's bad, you're missing a lot. But I will just point out, while we're here, that specifically against Yelena, and especially on this particular meta, because he is balanced around gaining a crud ton of attack rating from muscle mass, and Yelena stops that, he is and always will be the worst of the current daunted mutants for her. It's not his fault, it's just how it works. He's plenty strong elsewhere. Of course, Sans. We should always be buffing all 300 characters all the time so that they are perfectly even with each other, but also we can never undo anything or nerf anybody to work towards that goal. We can never undo anything. So if we make a mistake and somebody is just a little bit too strong when they go out the door, then whoops, well, I guess we need to rework everybody else to be exactly there now. A certain amount of unevenness in the game is inevitable and necessary, y'all. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm very aware Deadpool X Force works against her. And you know why? It's like I just said, he doesn't. He's not balanced around gaining attack rating. No, it did, Kurt. Don't worry. You can tell I hadn't played any Battlegrounds yet. What are my rank 5s? I'll show them up here in a second. They're not the best for this particular meta, unfortunately, nor are they necessarily aimed at Battlegrounds. So, I'm sure we're going to get some comments from the Peanut Gallery, but they've been very good to me. These first 5: Blue Marvel, Patriot, Sam, Carl, and Shocker. Fine, I mean... Give me the stuff. Oops, I shouldn't have clicked on that one, because now we're locked into selectors for the next 20 seconds. Okay. The attack increase from Ascension capped by Elena? It's not an attack increase. You are correct. It's basically a vigor, which is explicitly not an attack increase, it's a damage increase. And I realize that sounds very pedantic, but this game is complex, and the words matter a lot. 3 of them are yours. What kind of peanut doesn't understand that? Oh, yeah, I hear that. But don't you understand, Sans? I'm supposed to flagellate myself because my characters didn't make it high enough in the tier lists. Be power sprinting. Yeah, Hilgen, he was the last one that I took up with cats, because I also recently ascended him, which was really nice. Very, very happy with him. Yeah, absolutely, Hayden. Welcome, Gumchu. Dracula, Sabretooth, and Venom. Very cool. You like your villains. Yeah, Ring 5 Shocker is fun. I had a very good takedown of a Zemo with him earlier. It's not an unpopular take, Dragonfly. I do think it's an incorrect take. We have assigned Blue Marvel most of the wars this season, and Sentry almost never gets assigned in war. I understand that you're talking in terms of like once you've fully ramped Sentry, he hits harder than Blue Marvel and Halt is nice, but I don't think that that's the full picture. I do see your first time chat, so I'm assuming that you weren't here when I was streaming the Karina's challenges because I used Blue Marvel a ton in all 3 of the Heroes ones, and he kicked all kinds of butt. It took me 20 minutes to explain why Shothra can take Yelena's damage. Yeah. Well, you see, damage events are based on frames. God, yeah, it's rough quickly. I'm in love with Sandman. Very cool. Yeah, I like seeing love for Sandman. How'd I end up working for Kabam? So my training is in classical music. When I am done here, I'm probably going to go play trombone for a little bit. I'm trying to get back on that particular horse. And I started a YouTube channel in the pandemic because gigs basically dried up. And then as that got worse and worse, I eventually applied for a job at Kabam and didn't look back. Kind of the easy path. I do not. Sorry, I haven't played Act 7 in a very long time. And I would say that the easiest path is just the one that you can answer, right? Like you'll get different answers from different people depending on what you look at, but really it's just like what utility do you already have the answers for? Whoops, didn't mean to click. I really hope you know that when we say AI in the game, Yusuf, that our game does not actually have an artificial intelligence. And I don't even mean that in the sense of like LLMs aren't real artificial intelligence, because they're not either. I mean like it's not even close to that. It does not learn, it does not have a personality. I was trying to remember what that was a response to, Sans, but okay, I remembered the joke I made. That's fair. Exactly where the skill class only exists because of suspension of disbelief. I mean, kind of, Adam, but also not, right? Like, I really do not think that we have any obligation at all to stick to comic power levels, and I'm putting that in quotes. Because let's be real, comic power levels themselves are not objective. This is not Saiyan Saga Dragon Ball Z. These people do not have numbers attached to them that we can compare to each other. Who wins between Hulk and Thor? I don't know. Is it a Hulk comic or a Thor comic? Right? Like, who needs to win for the narrative that's being served right now? Why did Squirrel Girl beat Doctor Doom? Like, objective comic levels aren't really a thing. And then once we move away from that, once we're into this game, I think that it makes a lot of sense for the game to be organized in classes the way it is, to kind of group the utilities together so that we have this kind of Magic the Gathering-ish split of different kinds of abilities. But once you do that, you're inevitably going to have a class that, according to the comics, should never be able to go up against any of the others. And that would make for a really terrible game. And so, bluntly, we just have to sacrifice canon fidelity for power levels for a rough class balance. And there are still going to be differences between the characters and their power levels, but they're not really going to be objective ever, and they're not necessarily going to map to the comics. I can't answer you on that, Dragonfly. I really have like nothing to say on that, unfortunately. It's pretty outside my area. I would suggest you submit a support ticket with as many details as you can, because that is the kind of thing that concerns our engineers, and they will keep working on it. Even Dragon Ball Z is power scaling. Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong, Stalingrado. There's a reason I said Saiyan Saga, DBZ. The window within Dragon Ball where you can use power scaling to say anything worth saying is very, very narrow. I know that much. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much more time on this because it's not really arguable from a game design standpoint. We cannot match comic power levels. It's not a North Star worth shooting for, but I know there are a lot of people who just don't agree and say we should anyway. And so I'm just not going to keep saying it. Drops are working for me. I've earned 4 of them during this. Or I guess 3. One of them was for the campaign overall. Alright, I'm going to play one more, and that's probably going to be it. Hey, Carl, how's it going, man? Exactly, ASAP. Wolverine is no longer a playable character. He is just all of the Colosseum bosses. No, but what exactly do you mean, Yusuf? How do we match things to... How do we make things true to the characters in terms of Blue Marvel being one of the strongest, which is what you just said if we're not talking about power scaling? Why don't I suggest Kabam lower the units on the Deathless pieces? Because we told everybody that they were going to be that much, and all of the people who decided to invest their time and units and effort into earning the pieces in the first place did so based on the price of those pieces. They're continuing to get more available over time, but like, we can't just drop the price to 0. What's my deck looking like? I don't know that it's great, but this is what I'm rolling with at the moment. Alright, I'll do one more. If you're still having trouble, Black Mamba, to go back to that, make sure to refresh the page. We'll see. That's a pretty rich comment, Veracera, given that we introduced a pity system to the game recently. But, you know, go off, King. Did you get Britain first appearance? She was part of the Valentine's Day sale. Never had a chance to catch you live. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I mean man in the indeterminate sense, just in case. I'm gonna need a better high ego counter before we go. Yeah, that's kind of the goal, Adam. It's like, we want the characters to feel like them. It's just that, like, is Hulk appropriately OP is not part of that. Not in my opinion. Why does Blue Marvel need dots? How is that more appropriate to him? He does energy blasts. He doesn't light people on fire and wait for them to cook. I'm sorry for getting a little pointed, but I don't really follow you. Nice, Carl. Trying to use Radiance, even went back and did some of the Karinas. Excellent, yeah. Highly recommend using content to get the ones you can. Kitty Pryde was not a brand new champion in that window, Sujastu, no. That's because we did intentionally lower the price for Stellar Forged, right? Because we didn't want them to be as difficult as the Deathless. But we wanted that to be the communicated point from the very beginning, you know? So the same choices could be made, right? Like, okay, they're cheaper. Do I want to invest resources and time, or do I want to pay that cheaper price? Whoops. Alright, hit me. Ah. Soul Barb was bugged, and something was going on that meant that the fix didn't go out to everybody at the same time, which is very weird. But it should definitely be fixed now. GG's, Harsh. Did we beat y'all the last time? I don't remember. I don't even know the outcome of this war, but that's... yeah, GG's. Yeah, I'll do some more Solo Coliseum later, but I think I'm about done for today. 2 hours is about as far as I can go before I start thinking, I need some tea, and to stare at something other than a screen. Oh, I get that, MCH. But both are true, right? Some people took a break from the game and came back, and yeah, they missed characters. But some people also chose to not do the content and save up a certain amount of units. Okay, let me focus on this. See if I can do this better this time. I am going to try and run straight to Special 3. I generally agree, Wark. I think that is what a lot of it is. Did not hit that button. That's unfortunate. Okay, we knocked her down before the Special 2. That's good. You know what? Come here. Not what I wanted to do. Oh, I didn't have the alternate Tempest up, so this won't kill. Yeah, alright. That's fine. Should have gone for a heavy and not 2 mediums, but I couldn't have gone for the heavy because she was in... She just didn't play ball there. That's really unfortunate. If she had thrown the special when I wanted her to, we would have been fine. Yeah, sometimes they don't play ball. Please stop asking me for just prediction. You guys know I work on the game. You're not just asking me for predictions. You're asking for leaks when you do that. Whoops. That was bad. Nope. Double done. Okay. Ah, all right. This one was tough. They had a big roster and we had a rough draft. Yeah. No, that's fine. That one was uphill. Okay. I believe you and I accept your apology. I am a champion designer. I think somebody asked earlier, in case you're still here, what I applied for. I applied for balance. I didn't get that job. That went to one of my colleagues. But in that interview, I ended up interviewing for champion designer. And that's what I've been doing. Can you give me a prediction for who your next champ release will be? Take care, Sans. Have a good one, man. Do you have criteria about champions that are going to be objectively strong and hard? Deathless Thanos was different. Like, I think we just all agreed. We don't necessarily have like criteria that you could apply to the other releases, right? But we all agreed that because Thanos was somebody that you had to do all of this work, you had to have 4 other characters, you had to have done a bunch of content, you had to consistently engaged over the year. We were all on the same page. It was okay for him to be a little spicy. We didn't want it to be broken. We didn't want to like regret releasing him. But it was fine for him to be a little bit spicy. That kind of thing is pretty rare. Yeah, I am not currently running recoil, and I did ask myself why I wasn't doing that earlier. So I do need to change that next time I stream. I don't even remember how to move them over. I think I have to pick my other deck and then go do it. I don't remember. I should... Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but I should be able... Like, because I locked in recoil a long time ago. I shouldn't need to pay. Yeah, that's where I am right now. But I think what I need to do is go here and then clear these out and play with that, right? Which I will do next time. Anyhow. Antona just started? Thanks for the heads up, Misty. How many rank 5s? I have 5. Twitch's interface for rating people really leaves a lot to be desired. But alright, I'm going to send y'all over to Cantona. What champ did I design? I've designed quite a few at this point. Blue Marvel and Patriot were both mine. Captain America I did the rework on. Absorbing Man was my first one. Paviter was mine. I did the rework on Storm. Kushala was mine. Nico was mine. I have most of them up. Photon was mine. Serpent was mine. Jean was mine. I did the rework on Black Panther. Thanos was mine. I did the Deathless She-Hulk was mine. I did the rework on Luke. Missing somebody. I mean, obviously Kate's not a 7-star. She was mine as well. I think I missed somebody. But that's okay. I built a lot of mystics, yeah. Yeah, I've talked about it a little. The main one is just obviously I did not have enough time for Kate, and she came in too hot. That's on me. Have to change your main mastery, then save to the deck. Unless you have one with some saved already, then just build on the deck. Yeah, thanks, work. That should help next time. Okay, I'm gonna finish it up on YouTube. Oh, the raid went automatically. Okay, whoops. All right, well, thank you, YouTube people. And I guess the Twitch people had a good time, but I didn't say goodbye. All right, have a good one, everybody. I need to get better at that.